Hey guys, welcome back to another one. Not a great day of kayak fishing this morning. One fish, broke a rod, made up some new curse words, so I decided to call it a day. Came home, washed off the kayak, and I figured I'd use this as a great opportunity. A few of you have asked me, how do I set up my lifetime Teton Angler 100? So that's this video. Camera angles are kind of funky on this one because I'm out in my backyard, but stick with me, we'll figure it out. Alright, so here she is. Lifetime Teton Angler 100. These things go for about $479 at Dick's Sporting Goods, and they generally will run on sale a few times a year. You'll want to wait for a sale. Now, based on the picture you can see that I've by now put up on the screen, this thing came pretty much stock with blue and orange accessories. I'm not a Florida Gators fan, so I didn't care for that too much. First thing I did was swapped all that orange stuff out for black. And while I did kill my visibility, that's what kayak flags are for, right? All right, moving on. All right, so stock, this thing comes pretty well set up. Let me flip you around and show you. All right, so obviously you're not looking at the stock kayak, but what you can see is that it comes with these bungees. Now again, I made my orange ones black, 2 recessed rod holders, pretty decent kayak seat. A little bit of storage up here in the front with the bungees, and that's pretty much it. Now, for what that is, you can absolutely fish it right there on the spot. What I would recommend is that's what you do. If you buy something like this, go ahead, get out there and fish it. See what you need to add before you just start adding things. On that note, let me show you all the stuff I added. Now, I guess we'll start at the back here. All right, so let's pull these out of the way. All right, this is my dolly. That is, in fact, the absolute cheapest one I could find on Amazon that would get here in time. I have a hard time getting this thing on top of the Challenger, so in order to get it to the neighborhood lake, that's what I use, and that's why in my first video you guys saw me dragging the thing down the street. Now, I did add, let's see, these were the bungees, right? And I did make them from orange to black, and I did add this hatch here, a little bit of dry storage. This is actually the only one that I'm actually using, but it did come in a 2-pack, so we'll jump around a little bit. I did put another one in the front. These were very, very simple to install. You just cut a hole. Really not that big a deal. Okay, since we're moving back to front here, next thing we got is my kayak box. I know it does not look like your typical kayak crate, and that's because it's not. This is not a milk crate. This is a Plano box. I forget the name of it, but I'll put it down in the comments somewhere. But I think it's like a marine storage box or an ammo box, or I don't know. I forget what it's called. But I call it perfect. I think they're around 16 bucks or so at Home Depot. It comes with this plastic divider in it. It did go all the way over here, but I cut that piece out, and it perfectly fits everything I need. Some sunblock, there's a little first aid kit in here, scale, random baits, lip grippers. This is actually a 3500 size Plano box. And then one of those monster bass bait bags that holds quite enough for when I'm out in the kayak. Remember, guys, I'm not a tournament angler, so I'm not carrying 30 rods and every friggin' bait that I own. So this little box, it does perfect for me. For me, a kayak is a pretty confined space. I try to simplify it. I take, the less is more approach. All right, sticking with the kayak box, you see I got a pair of scissors mounted to the side here and a pair of pliers. These are both mounted on what would be my right-hand side. All I gotta do is reach behind me and grab. It's a pretty easy access. These I bought specifically because of the plastic sheath they come with. Clips right onto that Plano box, and it ain't going anywhere, so I'm not gonna lose them. I probably do need to put a bungee on these scissors though, come to think of it. The whole crate is bungeed to the kayak via these eyes that I installed aftermarket, and the rear bungees can also hook up on there. Again, that thing's not going anywhere. Moving on to the seat. I have this bag, Wilderness Systems. It's just basically just a mesh little pouch back here. Oh, there we go. And it bungees right to the back of the seat. Sole purpose of that, batteries and GoPro stuff, pretty much right there in the back. Fits in there. The baggie is enough to keep things dry, because if you'll notice right here connected to the chair, I've got a GoPro mount. That's my point of view, well, my current point of view camera system. I'm still working on how to make those a little better. But the wire runs right into here. This bag holds the battery. I also got some little Ziploc bags in here in case I get caught in the rain. I can put these over my cameras and I'll be good to go. Safety whistle attached to the seat. Depending on where you are, that might be mandatory, so pay attention to that. My PFD, I like these little jobs. When they get wet, they expand. Again, not a lot of room on a kayak, so anything that I can keep from taking up too much space is going to be good for me. Okay, coming up to this rail right here. Now, this is something that I added to the Kayak aftermarket. It does come stock with a rail on either side, but I added this one aftermarket from Amazon. I believe it was Yak Attack or something like that, and I added it specifically for this paddle holder right here. The paddle holder that comes on the Kayak, I don't know, it's not in a great spot for me. This is perfect. If I'm fighting a fish, I can just holster this thing and keeps it right out the way. Cup holder right in front of that, making good use of that rail. Look how good that decal looks on that cup holder. Actually a pretty decent cup holder. Holds a big old Gatorade, which is what I like. All right, moving forward, on one of the stock tracks that it came with, I do have a rod holder. This one's from Railblaza. I'll leave a link down to everything I got in here. If there's a link for it, I'll leave it. These are not affiliate links. These are just, you know, kind of help you out if you're looking for something. I highly recommend putting a rod holder somewhere on your kayak. It's great when you kind of get a fish out of a net, or you can put your rod in here when you're retying a knot or something. It's really, really very helpful. Highly recommend it. As far as this Railblaza one goes, it's pretty decent. I got no complaints about it, really. Little dry box, just picked this up at Walmart. It's got a tether, and that's just being tethered under the seat there. And that's where I keep my cell phone and my keys and my fishing license, things like that that I might have to gain access to in a hurry. That's the fairly cheap Ozark Trail paddle. I do plan to upgrade that in the future, but for right now, it does the job. All right, moving along to the front of the kayak. We've already discussed the bungee system up here and the fact that I added this hatch. Put a black handle on it instead of an orange one. We discussed that. Coming around to this is another one of the stock rails that came with the kayak itself. I did add this little holder here. This holds a sub-TIG, pretty decent battery, and that's what powers my main station up here. This is my third-person camera, GoPro Hero 8, media mod, and I forget what this thing's called, some kind of screen so I can see what I'm doing. And that whole thing gets powered by the sub-TIG battery, and then I have this battery as a backup, basically for that little screen. The battery life on that screen is not great, but listen to this. Hear that? That clicks into the back of that cup holder so freaking perfectly. I literally could pick it up, flip it upside down, and it would not fall out. Cup holder, obviously, because it's freaking hot in Florida. You gotta stay hydrated, and it's another place to put one of those awesome decals. This, as we come along the side here, this is actually the paddle holder that it comes with. Well, all right, I lied. This is one of two. All it had was like a little bungee that came up here, and it was, I don't know, a little cheesy. But I did forget to mention, it's got these cutouts here, and you are supposed to be able to lay the paddle in those cutouts that run right across that way when you're fighting a fish or something. Again, just kind of didn't work for me, and that's why I needed the paddle holder over there. But you come back around to these recessed rod holders. I think I missed it in the first one, but you can see one right back there behind my box, another one right here. These come stock with the kayak, and that's where I will keep another rod. That one over there generally stays empty because I do tend to cast, you know, off the right side of the kayak, so this way I don't bang into anything. Told you it was hot down here. I guess we're gonna have to finish this one up on the inside. I have to go back through and check the video, but I think I got pretty much what I was going for out of that. It's really a basic setup. I don't do anything really special out of the ordinary, except I already have had a couple of comments, you know, from some friends about my kayak box. So there might be just a standalone video on my kayak box coming at some point. But that's pretty much it, and as it is right now, I am pretty much happy with the way I got it. I am still playing with camera angles. I'm pretty sure the third person, I got that right where I want it, but the third person, I still got to work. Yeah, that still needs a little bit of attention. I do plan on putting some kind of depth finder on this thing. Kind of trying to decide right now between the Garmin Striker 4 and the Lowrance Hook 2. I think Humminbird makes one too that's right around that same price range. If anybody has any suggestions, by all means, please leave them down in the comments below. I do want a better paddle. And well, I actually did just recently get a Bluetooth speaker for the thing. That way when I'm not recording, I can jam out while I fish. All right, guys, that's pretty much this week's video. Not due to lack of trying. I was out there grinding, I promise. Basically one fish per trip. Each trip lasted about 3 hours. Yeah, and today I broke my St. Croix rod. I was done. Let's just put it that way. But I'd like to thank you very much for sticking around. If you found this video as a search based on the kayak itself, I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that thumbs up. And if you like this kind of content, maybe hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right, guys. It's friggin' hot, even in my garage, so I'm calling it. See ya.